Good evening, cult members, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And we may have fixed some voice. I don't know. Well, there's feedback. There might be some feedback in the background.
We're working on it.
We're efforting as much as we can. You can help us too by signing up for Patreon. If we get 25 subscribers to Patreon, then you will get to watch us watch the holiday special from Star Wars. So
Yes.
How is that not a incentive right there? I'm telling you right now, we will not be sober. We've talked about this the last couple of weeks. We have had some lack of news.
True. Going into summer, maybe.
Yeah.
Endgame kind of stole everybody's thunder for a while.
And there's, D23 at the end of the year, and we got Comic-Con coming up, so some of the stuff has been saved for that. And we're not going to get to all the news and notes and everything that we have tonight because there's a metric shit ton, and we're going to spend some time talking about E3. If you've been following the show from the beginning, we are not super gamers. We like video games, but it's not like our end-all be-all. It's
right.
Thing.
We don't play Fortnite or
Call of Duty or
there you
whatever,
go.
Or something.
I know Fortnite.
But we do watch a lot of the E3 coverage, partly because of the spectacle of it. But then, we get stuff like Death Stranding, which we'll talk about later, and stuff that I'm really interested in. And apparently the new version of the world is to hire actors to actually be the mocap actors in the games, and we'll talk about that too.
Right.
But we want to talk about some news and notes that actually came out this week that we found very interesting. We're going to start with our review of Dark Phoenix, X-Men Dark Phoenix. We're going to start there this week.
Okay.
And the reason we're going to start there is this movie is not nearly as bad as everybody is saying it is. I'm going to hide my leg here. This movie is not nearly as bad as everybody has said it has.
No, I didn't think it was horrible.
It's not 22% or whatever it is on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Is it still 22%?
Yeah, it's like 22 or 24.
Oh my gosh.
The last I checked.
Yeah. No, it's not. And everybody I've talked to has been like, it was okay. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't Days of Future Past, which happens to be my favorite X-Men movie. But it wasn't. It wasn't. What was the last one?
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. It wasn't the apocalypse of Apocalypse.
Right.
I'm gonna try not to sneeze in the microphone.
I found it really entertaining. Now it's not the true Dark Phoenix story, and the reshoots that they did do were for the ending because they were extremely similar to Captain Marvel. And so they were like, well, we already have this ending, and there were scrolls involved, and so there was. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they decided to reshoot the ending, and I liked the way that ended. I liked the concept of what they were doing. I'm trying not to spoil anything.
The best part is there's a giant fight scene where you get to finally see several of their powers. To a full
on the train scene. The fact that the train scene is actually in the trailer. I'm like trailer. We just said trailer. No, still not trailer. Train. But the final big fight on the train was really kind of cool.
Yeah.
And Beast goes full Beast, and it's still PG-13, so he doesn't go full Beast, but
right.
And you get to see Storm going full Storm.
Yep.
And you get to see Magneto actually as a good guy again. What side is he on?
I'm confused.
It's very confusing.
It is.
But everybody was really good. The special effects were really cool. I actually liked the storyline. I thought it was way better than everybody's been. It's way better than what the critics gave it, and the people who have been complaining that it's a jumbled mess, I don't see it as a jumbled mess. And so I don't know. I guess that's my point.
Yep.
My score is probably a 3.25.
Wow, that's pretty high.
Yeah.
I would give it a 2.5.
Really?
Yeah, middle of the road.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a movie. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it.
I don't know if we'll buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got all the other X-Men. Maybe it's like discounted on
Yeah. Yeah. We'll wait until it's discounted at
super
Zia.
discounted Zia. We in this house are big believers in teaching our children about the ways of the Force. No, that's not it. The way of movies and music. We took our children's movie learning experience very important, and one of those was Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. Yes, both of them are equally as good. Maybe Ghostbusters 2 is maybe just a slightly not as good, but we get Vigo. So, and a baby. Never mind. But they did the all-girl Ghostbusters and
Right, which was
15 and
actually
16,
pretty good.
which was good, but it felt times forced. Like they forced a lot of the cameos from the original. Like Bill Murray was forced in there, and Dan Aykroyd was forced. If they didn't force all of them in and just let them be the new Ghostbusters, I think it would have been a lot better received.
That's fair.
And Chris Helmsworth was amazing.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
But they came out about 4 or 5 months ago that Jason Reitman, the son of Ivan Reitman, who did the original Ghostbusters, is making, which would be technically the third Ghostbusters movie.
Right, the third in the Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd version of Ghostbusters.
And Sigourney Weaver is a national treasure and couldn't keep her mouth shut and said, "Yeah, I'm coming back," and so are the boys. So there have been talks of what does that all mean. The boys, everybody's assuming, is Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson.
Right, because the other guy is dead.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I can. It's not. It's.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
I can see him.
I could.
He directed movies.
Please be nice in the comments and remind us what his name. I could IMDb it right now, but I'm just moving on because whatever. But it looks like everybody's going to come back. It really helps that it's Jason Reitman who is involved in this, and Ivan Reitman is actually going to be a producer on the movie too. And so they're going to be able to get they're getting the band back together.
Right.
Which are you excited about this? Is this kind of a cool coming back and?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you seen Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray recently? I mean, Bill Murray's
amazing, and
Bill Murray, and he's done some stuff, but Dan Aykroyd, when you see it's like,
yeah, I get that. And Sigourney Weaver was a bad guy in Defenders, and she's still doing stuff, and
she still looks.
I only excited about this because it's Jason Reitman. If it was I was not excited about the girl Ghostbusters, and with Paul Feig, who did it, and it ended up being good, and I ended up liking it, but I wasn't excited about it, and so I wasn't all like, ooh, let's go. But this one I'm excited, and there's Rick Moranis retired from acting after his wife had died to raise their kids, and now all their kids are, late teens kind of thing. So maybe there's some rumblings that maybe they'll go to try to see if he'll come back and do something, which would be really kind of cool. Again, getting the band back together. Right. So yeah, I will wait and see until the trailer. Warner Media streaming service ordered a straight to series, not even a pilot or anything like that, a straight to series project, and it's called Dune: The Sisterhood. Yep. Now, when this article came out, one of the headlines was all female Dune series coming to streaming service. And I was like that's what you're going to lead with the conversation, why do we need an all girl everything? You integrate girls into what
Right.
We've been having this conversation for a while on the show, and so I'm like, okay, we're just gonna force some you know all-girl version of something, and I'm gonna question it because I'm a white male, and it's gonna sound really bad, but I question everything that, like, we're just talking about with the Ghostbusters. Why are we doing this? And so I went and read the article. So come to find out, it is going to be, the pilot is going to be directed by Vinny Villeneuve, who is in our house.
Villeneuve. What did you say?
Villeneuve. Villeneuve? Denis
Denny
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve. I heard Dilleneuve. Okay. Proceed.
I have problems talking, but Denis Villeneuve, I actually like.
Okay.
And people who call him Dennis makes my head spin. He is a top 5 director in our house, and he is directing the pilot of this series, and is actually going to be doing it, co-writing it with John Spates, who helped him write the Dune movie that they're working on right now.
Okay.
And the series is going to be about the Bene Gesserit sisterhood.
Right.
And so how they are, I'll say it, they're witches essentially in this universe, and their power is the control of the body and the mind, and it's only women who can do it, and they're afraid of the Kwisatz which is a man who comes in who has their abilities and stuff like that.
Right.
And
because that upsets the order.
Right. But the idea of this is learning about the political intrigue between each of them, and the and the covenant kind of religious zeal that is this kind of religious sect essentially within the Dune universe is really kind of cool.
Right. Well, and I mean, that's a story I would like to know more of, right? Especially, I don't really remember the longer, was it made for TV version?
The sci-fi one.
Yeah, because it was so long. But
we have it. It's up there.
I know. The one with Kyle MacLachlan, that one they really only touch on them pretty briefly. And the first probably 4 or 5 times I watched that movie, I didn't really even understand what their purpose was.
Right,
and then as you watch it more, there's a lot going on in that movie that it takes a couple viewings to get.
To be honest, you need to watch the 3-hour and 45-minute version to really get, because the book is so dense.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily with the story, the movie story is not necessarily the book story.
Right.
But
no, I get that.
detail.
But I mean, I've never read the book, and I
have.
When you had it read to you.
I read it.
I was no, you didn't. Once I kind of figured out who they were and what their point was in the movie, it was like, I want to know more, like where'd they come from, and what else can they do, and why is everybody so scared of them, and why, I wanted to know more.
I'm really intrigued with this idea. The other thing too that kind of came in this, was from Deadline, I believe, was this article, and towards the end, there's just one sentence at the end. It says, "News of the series is in keeping with Legendary's plan to expand the Dune franchise into a multitude of platforms." So it looks like maybe they're trying to build a MCU, Star Wars, Star Trek universe using Dune as the base. Now, like, there's a ton of the
they could Frank
totally
do this.
Hibbert. So they could totally do that.
Yeah. You can go to Arrakis, and like the sand people, I don't remember what the people with the blue eyes, and like, where did they come from? And
Fremen.
The Fremen? Sure.
I could actually do a Dune schmodown.
I mean, when you come upon them, they're all living in a cave. Well, they couldn't have lived there the whole time. Like, how did that? And isn't there like a town? But when they I don't know. It's been a long time since I watched Dune, but when at the end they go to like the city where
the spice mining is and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
like yeah. So where
There's
did
like
that all come?
there's
And then Duke Harkonnen and
there's the oh, 5, 4, 3, 2, the worms that actually bend space.
oh yeah.
For them to travel from like that,
Yeah,
like how
and they
their
touched
whole,
on that super shortly.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
ultimate wormhole.
And then there's the political intrigue, like medieval politics that go on.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you have an emperor
Yeah.
and barons and dukes and all
Yep.
that stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a lot
there's
that
a
they
lot
could
there.
examine in that.
And you could take the books and make the TV series and make the movie and then go like do a comic book series or
Yeah.
do like an animated series or something like that. I like what they're doing with this, especially since I really love the Dune universe. I really think it's really cool.
Yep.
So let's get into San Diego Comic-Con before we get into E3. Now, some news came out, was that Wednesday, Thursday last week, that Warner Brothers has decided not to go to San Diego Comic-Con. And this was a huge deal until you start kind of picking at why they made the decision. And they don't have anything pressing in the next few months that they really want to push other than It Chapter 2.
Right.
And Scare Diego, which is the horror part of San Diego Comic-Con, it's off-site, it's part of the con, but you don't need a badge for it and all that stuff. So they're going to do all the promoting for It Chapter 2 there. But everything else, Joker, Suicide Squad, the Batman, Aquaman, Trench, all the DC stuff, none of it's in any position to really do any kind of showing except for Wonder Woman 84.
Right.
And that doesn't come out until next summer.
Yeah, right.
And so you're really going to push the Joker, and let's be honest, the Joker really isn't like this version of this Joker really isn't a Comic-Con kind of thing.
Right, I think of it more as like a psychological thriller drama kind of thing, not necessarily. It's just a guy that's kind of gone off the deep end.
Yeah.
Had a really, really, really bad day.
Breaking Point was the one with. I can't remember. The guy just loses it in traffic and starts just killing people. Michael Douglas and.
Really? This is a movie?
Breaking Down. I think it's Breaking Down. Something like that. Yeah, I'll show you the trailer. Yeah.
Okay.
So this means a lot because that's one of the huge time slots for Thursday, and with D23 this year, there's no big expectation that Marvel or Star Wars or Disney at all will be there. Now, I expect Marvel will have a presence at the con somehow, and I don't necessarily know if it'll be an MCU thing or whatever. Most of the big stuff I think for D23 with the Marvel end of things is going to be Disney Plus stuff.
Okay.
Now with Warner Brothers and DC not going to San Diego, Marvel shows up, comes out at 7 o'clock. Feige says, "Here's the next 3 years or next 5 years,
right.
And here's Fantastic Four, and here's here's how we're gonna put Deadpool in the next X-Men movie, and and just go." And control that whole news cycle there, and then again you'll control the news cycle in August when D23 happens. So
right.
You can kind of keep, especially when you don't have anything from Marvel coming out other than Far From Home.
Right.
So, which is a Sony thing. So, so that means a whole lot of different things. But one of the big announcements that is coming out is Game of Thrones. Yes, Game of Thrones is going to have a return to Hall H. This will be the first time that Game of Thrones will actually be in Hall H since 2016.
Huh.
And they don't necessarily know who of the cast will be there, and most likely we won't get Benioff and Weiss. But you probably will get Martin, you'll probably get several members of the cast, and it will probably be a retrospective, we can actually talk about the series now. because a lot of the time when they've gone to do San Diego Comic-Con, they've been in the middle of filming or just before the season came out, and so they couldn't talk about anything.
Right.
And now you can.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't announce the next thing.
That was the next kind of thought process too. Is you have, here's the cast, and let's remember the awesomeness that was.
For a half an hour, an hour, whatever, and
then there's like all the lights go out, and a White Walker shows up, and the new cast comes out with the new showrunners and stuff like that. It would be kind of a cool.
Are they that far? I mean, I was just thinking.
They've got like 7 or 8 people already cast.
Oh, okay.
And the rumor is the filming for that starts in the fall. So
okay.
That's
I was
all
just expecting
rumors.
some concept stuff or something.
Oh, we'll probably get
title
that too.
Or
George is really involved with the prequel too, a lot more involved than he was with this version of Game of Thrones. And
until he gets bored and goes off and does something else.
And writes something
halfway through.
Doesn't finish the goddamn books. But that was kind of an interesting announcement that they're going to do that. We will probably also get we'll get the big CW thing. They've been involved from 20 the last few years. They'll probably do a big Hall H presentation because we know Arrow's coming to an end.
Right.
We also have Batwoman coming in. We have the big crossover event that's going to be, the whole setup, whatever.
Right.
We also have the last season of Supernatural. They'll do their big Sunday party, whatever.
Right.
We'll get a big Walking Dead probably panel too. With all the different things that are going on. And I was reading, I was not reading today, but I was skimming an article that was talking about Rick's return and stuff, and the show and stuff. So that's a show, much like Supernatural, that probably needed to end about 4 years ago.
Yeah, I would say it jumped the shark a while ago.
We're also getting a big display off-site. That's what they call them, but it's a big interactive display by Amazon this year. They did Stephen King.
Oh, not Salem's Lot. Castle Rock.
Castle Rock. They did a big thing for Castle Rock last year, and they're going to do another, essentially the same location this year to promote 3.
No, Castle Rock is Hulu. Castle Rock is Hulu. Mr. Murder, was that Amazon?
Mr. Mercedes?
Mr. Mercedes, I mean.
Mr. Mercedes?
Yeah, that might have
it's
been
the
Amazon.
same. It's the same location, essentially the same location that they're going to use. And this year they're going to do The Expanse, which they took over from Sci-Fi.
Yep.
And then a big thing for Carnival Row, and a big thing for The Boys. The Boys comes out right after the con, right before the con kind of thing, which I'm really looking forward to. Carnival Row is a war-torn homeland with mystical creatures gathered in a city as tensions are simmering between civilians and the growing fantasy creature immigration population.
Okay.
With Orlando Bloom and Cara
Delvinier?
The girl from wow. Hi, how are you? Cannot remember the French, like, freaking.
From Braveheart?
No.
Oh.
From Luc Besson. He did the comic. We saw it in the theater. They had no chemistry between them. It looked great. Wow. Hi, we're a show we actually like to talk about movies. We just can't remember shit because we're old and we need some glucosamine.
No.
Ginkgo biloba.
Yes.
Anyways, so she's playing a fairy. Orlando Bloom's playing a human, and that's all we know from this Carnival Row show. And
I remember seeing
it's like Victorian era. Like I'm in. But it looks like maybe like people were freaking out. Like Warner Brothers is going to be there. What are we going to do for the con? And Marvel's going to be there. What are they going to do for the con? It's the 50th anniversary. They will have a big 50th anniversary panel in Hall H.
Well, and there's plenty of other stuff. There's plenty of other streaming services that are willing to
It would be
throw their
awesome.
stuff out there.
It would be awesome if Netflix just did a Hall H panel.
Yeah, I actually, I don't know if you have this in there. You probably don't because we have enough other news. But I actually skimmed lightly because I was super busy today, something saying that Netflix is looking at kind of streamlining and reducing. We've kind of been complaining that they
got
just
so much stuff.
Yeah, they're just throwing everything against the wall, and then a lot of stuff that has potential is kind of lacking.
Right.
And
right.
I heard a rumor that they might be trying to kind of streamline that a little bit.
Right.
So that would be awesome.
it would be cool if they actually did something, but in like we got HBO and all the stuff that they've got, like Westworld
and they're pushing all the new stuff.
Watchmen.
Yep.
You could probably do Europa. That his darkest material, the darkest matter, with
the darkest matter.
Yeah, so you got like that kind
with
of stuff.
Lin-Manuel Miranda
and James McAvoy.
Yeah.
So you got that kind of stuff. So I'd be interested to see what they end up doing. We're gonna go to break, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about E3 and all the stuff that's come out from E3 and all the kind of cool stuff that we found interesting, including some movie news. We'll be right back.
Hello, cult members. Like what you've heard on this podcast? Then please subscribe and follow us here. You can also find us on Facebook at the Pop Culture Cult. We're on Instagram at PopCultureCult1, and we're on Twitter at Pop_Cult1. We're also on YouTube at PopCultureCult, and on the Stardust app under PopCultureCult. Please help us by liking, following, and subscribing to everything we have. This helps us build a bigger and better cult of pop culture.
And we're back. For you on the podcast feed, we had a great half an hour talking about news and notes, mostly about San Diego Comic-Con. That will be the lost half episode.
You can go watch it on YouTube.
You can watch it on YouTube.
Or listen to it on YouTube.
ABCN. I will do my best to try to add something. I don't know. We'll figure out that.
He was talking about putting sticky notes on his computer so he remember to turn everything on.
We're trying new mics, and so I'm like worried about the mics and not getting everything started and recording, and I'm just gonna I'm miming over here for those who are on the podcast feed. You should just go watch us on YouTube.
We're much funnier on YouTube.
It's an interactive show. So we're going to talk about E3. There's a couple things I want to talk about. One of the things I do want to talk about first, and I don't know how much of, like, we were super busy at work and everything, but the little bit of reading I've done, gaming people are worse than Star Wars fans about, like, the expectation level is Everest.
Yeah.
And if you get to K2, it's not good enough.
Right.
Like it's ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
like they want the moon and back and then Mars, and they're pissed off when they get to the space station.
But everybody complains when it's, $80 for a game, and
Right.
I want all of that for $24.99.
Right. I watched some. Actually, the IGN did a really cool, compressed video of some of the highlights from the last 2 days.
Oh, that's nice.
Xbox seemed like it had a really good showing. They announced Scarlet. Scarlet is their new gaming platform, console platform, and it's instantly faster. All helps rendering and frame rates and all this stuff. And blah,
is
blah,
it
blah,
a
blah,
big
blah,
big box or is it a handheld?
Box.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
PlayStation didn't come, right?
No Sony properties, no Sony anything. So they had no presentation, no nothing this year.
Right.
And then Ubisoft, I watched this morning, and they had a pretty awesome, show. Like the show of it itself started off, and they started with the Assassin's Creed Symphony, and they are taking, like they did with Game of Thrones and Harry Potter and stuff like that, where they tour with the symphony and play parts of the movie
Oh,
with the
right.
symphony.
Like
So
when we went and saw the Star Wars one.
right.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do the whole thing. They're gonna play like they're gonna do a concert, and then they're gonna show parts of the different games where that song was actually used from.
Okay.
And that kind of thing.
All right.
And they their way of announcing that was they had the symphony, small symphony,
Yeah.
come out and play to open up the Ubisoft panel, and then they got into a whole bunch of.
It'd be interesting to see how many people actually go to that.
I'm interested because of I'm not not a big gamer, but one of the games I do love is Assassin's Creed,
and it's got some good music. It's just I don't know. Maybe, or maybe gamers don't care about the symphony. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if the super intense gaming people are like the super intense movie people. Like movie snobbery starts with the music, and like even like some of the people that I follow, one of the first things they talk about is it's Giacchino doing the music or it's John Williams doing the music.
Right.
Before they even do like how the plot was and how the acting was, they talk about the music first. And I just don't hear that from gamers. I don't hear that kind of conversation from gamers about.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering where that'll go.
But
we'll see.
From what I've been reading, like people are just kind of like, about E3 this year.
Yeah.
And there was, which I think is both interesting and probably not good. Two of your big, one of your big creators, Sony, didn't even show up.
Right.
Not even there.
Right.
And two of your biggest games that are coming in the gaming world that people have been talking about for years have already released all of their marketing stuff, their big trailers and all that stuff with Death Stranding and Jedi Fallen Order. They have stuff going on there, but like the Death Stranding, like they were everywhere at E3 last year when we were watching the coverage, and I haven't seen anything from them.
Well, and so at least two of the games that we were really excited about last year. So the one, it was 2 with the girl.
Last of Us.
Last of Us 2. So is that out?
No. So they, the rumor that I've read so far is it's ready. They could release it if they wanted to at their November date that they had talked about. But because Death Stranding with Norman Reedus and everybody, that one's coming out in November, they want to get away from it, and so they're going to hold it off a year. And
then that's the other one. Like, these were big deals last year.
Yeah.
It's a year and a half before this game is coming out. I mean, build the build up.
Yeah.
6 months before it comes out.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
Death Stranding is the one I'm really like. I did a trailer reaction for the 13-minute gameplay trailer or whatever.
But it's a year and a half. It just seems like people are not going to care anymore by the time it gets here.
Yeah, and I get that. And the thing about Last of Us 2 is they built like 7 different sets. And when they were doing their presentation for just that game, they were moving the entire cast,
audience,
and everybody from one building to the next to show the next part of the game. So it was a really cool like display.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was coming out like Christmas or whatever,
right.
and here we are a year later and it's still not out yet.
And that's one of the games I really want to play. And Jedi Fallen Order, I've known about it for a little while.
Yeah.
But it's been held back until we got to Celebration and they first started releasing some of the information. And we didn't get gameplay stuff until this last week before E3.
Yeah.
And then, so now you've got Xbox and Microsoft with their big panel. You got Ubisoft and Bethesda doing their game stuff. Bethesda is getting crushed because Fallout 76 didn't live up to anybody's expectations, including Bethesda's. And then we got Ubisoft today with some of their stuff they're doing, but again, none of it was surprising.
Yeah, it just
from Ubisoft
almost seems like the gamer stuff. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going away, because I don't think that's true, but it's in a really weird place right now. Like, I don't know, maybe we just don't hang out with those people anymore, but I don't know anybody who's like, oh my God, I can't wait until blah, blah, blah comes out, and I'm just going to sit at home for 2 weeks and do nothing and play this game.
Right.
Nobody does that. I mean, I know people play Fortnite, but it's
nobody within our inner circle, and we've got a lot of nerdy inner circle people.
Yeah, and a lot of gamers.
Are big gamers, like big gamers. And I don't know if that's just because of our age group, or if the games are.
There's some, but
yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Jedi Fallen Order. I'm Death Stranding, Last of Us. There was one that came out today. Was it Rainbow Six? No, it was the other one. It's based in London, and you get to.
Is it another Tom Clancy?
No, it's called. Did I put the notes in here? I don't think I put the notes in here. I didn't put the notes in here. It'll come to me, because it was really kind of cool. But that one got my attention too, because you can move from different characters. So you actually play multiple different characters at multiple different times, and it's set in London post Brexit.
Oh. Huh.
Right. So it's modern London, but gangs are taking over, and there's like
near future apocalypse
kind of setup kind of thing. One of the things that did come out today was a long rumored movie. Ubisoft has been working with Tom Clancy to do The Division as a movie.
Okay.
And they started in 2016. We learned that Jessica Chastain would be joining Jake Gyllenhaal in the movie.
Is this a live-action movie?
This is a live-action movie.
So why is Ubisoft doing it?
Because they own the rights to all the Tom Clancy stuff.
Oh.
And so they were looking to expand outside of just gaming.
Right.
And so they have the rights to this, so they don't have to pay anything for it, so you can spend more money on the special effects and whatever.
Right, okay.
And so, and then April of last year, we learned that David Leitch, who did Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, is doing the new Terminator, is going to direct it. And then today, at the end of the Ubisoft presentation, they announced that they have partnered with Netflix, and Netflix is putting money, big money, into these action things. They're doing one with Michael Bay. They're doing The Irishman with Scorsese.
That's the rumor.
And well,
if it ever comes out,
they're doing some pretty revolutionary stuff with that one. So, de-aging Robert Downey Jr.
They already did that.
Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and everybody. So we're getting a movie from The Division. Now, I've heard of The Division, but I've never played it. And then I went and read the description, and now I'm interested. The Division is set in the near future, where a pandemic virus is spread via paper money on Black Friday, decimating the city of New York and killing millions. By Christmas, what's left of the society has descended into chaos. A group of civilians trained to operate in catastrophic times are activated in an attempt to save who and what remains. Jake Gyllenhaal is going to be a leader of a SEAL Team 6 going through a post-apocalyptic New York. I'm in.
Okay. Who uses cash money anymore?
It's Tom Clancy. He wrote most of these in the 80s.
All right. They need to, I don't know, update it. Figure out some way to update that, because nobody uses cash anymore. Especially in New York. You'll just get mugged.
Yeah, you just wave your card in front of the thing and call it good. But I like Jessica Chastain.
Yeah.
I like David Leitch. I like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there makes me excited to watch it. And then knowing what the Division is and what they're doing in the games and stuff like that. So I thought it was an interesting capper to their presentation today.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs. Is it Watch Dogs? I'm still trying to figure out the name of that freaking game, because I'm like, I want to play it. Let's see. We talked about Death Stranding. We talked about Jedi Fallen Order. So during the Xbox presentation last night, I guess it was last night, they showed Cyberpunk 2077. This was one of the big ones that they sneakily announced last year. They had a teaser trailer for it last year, but no date or anything like that. And then there's been a big push for it lately, and then they had a big gameplay trailer and like story trailer that came out during this panel. In the story story trailer, the guy that you were playing with in the game gets pushed out a window, brand broken, and he falls down or whatever. He goes, and this guy walks up and says, "Hey, welcome to the crew. We need to get your act together." And he goes over and he picks him up, and it's Keanu Reeves. And Keanu Reeves then comes out from behind the curtain on stage to announce the release date of Cyberpunk 2077 is April 16th of 2020.
Yep.
And at which point the internet exploded because Keanu Reeves is hot right now.
He's so hot right now.
But that's one of the games too I'm interested in because it's kind of techie Blade Runner.
Okay.
Just kind of with the time period, kind of like how it feels and how it looks.
Yeah. Okay.
And
you're gonna be, I don't know, have to get a subscription or something for all these games you want to play.
There's the two I absolutely I tried to pre-order it yesterday was Jedi Fallen Order. The gameplay in that particular, and Saw Gerrera is in it. Like
Saw Gerrera is in it.
I'm watching the gameplay trailer, and the main guy walks up and he kneels down, and this guy in this outfit that looks really familiar turns around, and it's Saw Gerrera, and they're on Kashyyyk, like freeing the Wookiees. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, how is this not like a thing I didn't know I needed in my life, and now I need it in my life? And,
right.
And so that one, and Death Stranding. Death Stranding is going to be the game that I'm going to set up a Twitch stream and I'm going to play, and you can all watch how bad of a gamer I am. But the cinematic scope that games are going, and the storytelling scopes that stories are going now, I really get me excited. And they bring people in like Keanu Reeves, and they brought in John Bernthal, who's going to be part of Ghost Recon Breakpoint, where he leads the team, and so he's a main character and stuff like that. So
I think this is their push to try to get some interest back into gaming, which is what we were talking about earlier.
Oh, well, I find it I find it interesting because gaming makes more money every year than movies and television. And sales and merchandise and everything like that. Still.
All right.
In fact, they are making a TV show about it.
About making money?
About making the game making process.
Oh, okay.
And the gaming community and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's going to be on Apple Plus, Apple TV.
It just seems, because these games seem to take forever to come out, where, I don't know. It just seems like they're way bigger deals than some of these movies.
The thing for me about gaming is there's a thing in the gaming world. This is how I at least understand it. You're either a PlayStation player, an Xbox player, or you're on the island of PCs.
What's a PC?
And everybody stays in their lane. Nobody deviates from their own lane.
Right.
And some games.
We are a PlayStation household.
We are a PlayStation household. But we do not have access to Forza and some of the other games or whatever.
Right.
And
because they're strictly Xbox.
Strictly Xbox.
And that's why our kids, at least one of our kids, has both.
Right.
Because then they can play all their games.
And he works for a pawn shop, so he gets the games for 5 cents.
And can get the systems.
But the other part of the gaming world right now is esports is gigantic right now.
Yeah.
It's huge, and that's multiplayer online. Fortnite is a multiplayer online thing, and for us, that really doesn't have appeal for us. We both like storytelling, and if we want a storytelling game, we need a go forward, like Assassin's Creed. You're telling a story and going forward.
You're moving through the story and
Yeah.
making the
So
story
it's
yourself.
almost a choose your own adventure kind of version of the world.
Right.
And that's what like stuff like Death Stranding, Fallen Order, Cyberpunk, like all that stuff, which is why I'm excited. And then, you know, people who are like, you know, Halo's coming back, and they were doing Final Fantasy VII remake. That
actually looked pretty cool.
Looked kind of cool. And then you get a lot of the online stuff, and I have no desire for, like, I love Battlefront. I love the way that Battlefront 2 looked, but the story was 10 hours, and everything else is online play, and I just.
And this is how he plays. This is how he plays games. He does not do the side adventures. He goes
typically no.
He goes from A to Z as fast as possible, and so if it's only 10 hours worth of story, then he's like,
I spent $60 on 10 hours.
Right. It's like, well, what you're supposed to do is do all the little side adventures and get the cool cloak of invisibility +5, and then you can go into the closet, and there's a whole nother world that you can go kill Pokemon in, and then you come back. No, A to Z.
Yeah. When I played Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which is still my favorite Assassin's Creed version. Black Flag is second because I could boot the boat battles. But Syndicate I did make a point of doing all the side missions because it built my character up to do the main storyline, which is what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
But that one was cool too because it was London, it was Victorian era. You get to play 2 different characters. Each character had its own strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that.
Right.
So and they were brothers and sisters. And they were bringing like building gangs in the London area and stuff like that. So that story arc really intrigued me. Battlefront was much the same way, but I'm also one of those people, like, I can play for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and then I gotta do something else. Like I gotta.
Well, and we just have way too much stuff going on in our lives to sit and play video games on.
They announced, well, that was last year, related to Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is coming out. I'm just trying to think of, like, there was I think Nintendo is tomorrow, or tonight or tomorrow, something like that. I expect them to announce something big since we don't get Sony.
Yeah.
And but I find it really interesting to watch because the spectacle of it, and big stage productions, and like one of them today, instead of having the gamers previewing the game on stage, they in the middle of the presentation, the stage like cracked open and the camera went down into the underbelly of the stage, and like it was a drone from the second story down into the other side, and when you went down there was all these gaming stations, and the presenter was down there like, welcome to the underbelly of gaming, and all that kind of thing. It was like, oh, it was a cool presentation.
Right, for a thing that you can barely find on YouTube to watch, and it's not very
IGN
marketed.
IGN does a pretty good job of, because it's IGN. They are gaming
first, but like that's like
I had to go find
Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con level production, but nobody knows it's actually happening. Like half the time we stumble, we're like, oh, hey, E3 started, we need to start watching it.
I only figured out E3 stuff was going on this week, like Thursday of last week, and that's when I went and looked for it. I'm like, we're in June, we should be getting E3 stuff soon. And we know people who were there. Like it's just really weird. Like the draw for me is to go and see the thing. not necessarily the games or whatever, but I want to see the thing that is E3. It's like going to San Diego for Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I want to go for the thing
the
that
adventure.
is,
Yeah.
or D23 or whatever. You know, I'm not a super Disney person, but out of that you get hyped for here's this game, here's this new console, here's this concept and all that kind of thing, and Funko's got a booth. Just saying.
Sorry.
Wah, wah. All right, that's our show.
We're going to Amazing Comic-Con.
So that was our show this week. I was going to get into what we're doing. So please like, subscribe to everything that you're listening to. Patreon. We're working on something there. Follow us on all the social media stuff. All that's in the descriptions. Next weekend, this coming up weekend, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 13th, 14th, 15th?
Whatever.
14th, 15th, 16th. This weekend.
Friday. We leave Friday.
PopCultureCult, 2/3 of them at least, will be in Las Vegas for Amazing Las Vegas Comic-Con. And we are going up there to do some coverage, to talk to cosplayers, to talk to creators, whatever we can kind of get away with doing. Hence the new mic setup was we want to be able to do some wandering around and stuff like that and do some interviews.
We got offered press passes and invited to do interviews, and so we're excited and we're going.
We're going to do our very best, and I signed up today to get my Infinity Gauntlet signed. Infinity Gauntlet comic signed. I hope I got the right one. But we will be there Friday afternoon, Saturday, and probably some of Sunday. So if you see us on site, we will be wandering around Saturday definitely with our PopCultureCult shirts. This is just like Phoenix Comic-Con, Phoenix Fan Fusion, whatever they call it now. Come up, say, hey, we are members of the PopCultureCult. Prove it by showing us that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, and you win a prize. And we will have prizes and stuff like that as we're there. We will also be spending at least one night at Millennium Fandom Bar in Las Vegas. We've been wanting to try that out, and so this seems like the proper time.
Perfect time.
They're having up 2 post-con parties, one on Friday night, one on Saturday night. So we're going to do our best to get to that, and maybe we will pick up something for a sweepstakes or giveaway somewhere down the line.
But you have to belong to Patreon.
Yeah. Patreon, or maybe nothing official. Sign up for Patreon. Nothing official, but maybe our 1,000 subscriber will we'll do something for that, because that's what we're building for right now.
Yep.
So
that's YouTube.
That's YouTube.
1,000 subscriber on YouTube.
We're working on that. It's getting there. We're plucking along. We just need one big thing. So we need that one thing.
So if you're famous, tell your friends.
Daniel Logan, just come and hang out with us for the weekend. I'm just saying. You've got like 300,000 freaking Instagram subscribers.
Yeah, give us some.
Give us some. So we will see you in Las Vegas this weekend. Please come by, say hi, take photos, and all that kind of stuff, and show us that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, like you should be doing anyways, and Patreon. And until next time, good evening, cult members.